Hey guys, Frenetic here, back at you with another episode of STG Weekly. We're going to be highlighting Darius Burst Chronicle Saviours for you today, and I'm excited to announce that we have a very full house here, so you're going to get a lot of info and also helpful stuff from our moderators here. So, first of all, I'd like to introduce the STG Weekly crew. We've got Aquas.
Hey guys, what's up? Let's do this thing.
We've got Trap 15.
Hey, hey, hey.
We've got Soft Drink.
Yo!
Lastly but not least, we've got Soda Machine.
Hey, 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 no fear, SodaStream is here.
And then I'd like to welcome our very special guest. We've got Blackbird.
Good evening, everyone.
And then we also have Icarus, the infamous Icarus.
Infamous. Hey guys, how you doing?
Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and get right into it and yield the floor to Blackbird to talk more about Darius Burst Chronicle Saviours and about the background of the game.
Okay, sure. That's great. Where would you like me to start with it?
Maybe go ahead and talk about how Degica came to get into Darius Burst Chronicle Saviours when you got into the project, like in the middle of the way. Maybe a little bit of background, like what you like about the game too, as well.
It's something that's been kind of in the back of our mind for a long time now. I think the interest in Darius Burst originally came because we knew that there was this awesome arcade game that a lot of people liked, and that the AC version of the game had never been localized to home consoles. And so a lot of us had talked and said, hey, it would be really amazing to see this game fully realized on the PC, because on the PC we have the opportunity to do things like have dual monitors, and to try to at least approximate that arcade experience if you have the right hardware. And it seemed like a really big, ambitious project that would be interesting to do. And I guess our interests aligned with Taito and Pyramid, and we were eventually able to put it together. When I came onto the project, when I started really focusing a lot of attention on it. It's something that had been going on for some time. I want to say, let me see if I can remember exactly when we really ramped up focus on it. It had been a project for at least 6 months, but I myself did not really start to focus on marketing it heavily until after Mushihime-sama was completed, because I tend to focus on one project at a time in order to fully focus on it, and just kind of go through them like that.
That's probably a very good idea to see things through one at a time. I'd like to field a question to the rest of the chat. Like, what did you guys think when you first heard the announcement that Darius Burst Chronicle Saviours was being localized for Steam? Aquas?
Sorry, I was tending to a stream issue. Repeat the question, please.
Oh, hey, Aquas. So, how did you feel when you first saw that Darius Burst was getting localized?
Well, so the arcade game, like, how long has it been around for so long? When did it get released? About
11.
I'm wondering. 2011. So, the game's been around, and we had seen it in a couple U.S. arcades, right? Wasn't it not in round one in California or something like that? And
that's right.
so it was just kind of this mysterious game that it was seen in the U.S., but of course, as shooting game fans, we had seen it just in the Japanese arcades and just basically in awe at this large Darius machine. So, is it three HD screens wide? Is that what it is technically? It's only two. Okay. But in any case, at first you see it, it's mind blowing. So it was kind of unexpected for me to finally see that this is going to be getting a home console release. So it's actually just wonderful. that we can actually conquer the widescreen issue as well.
How about you, Soft Drink?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely, like you were saying, it was very rare in the U.S. There were like a couple in round one. There was, I think, a couple privately owned ones, and then Alamone had that kind of like ghetto setup with the PCB that he managed to like jerry rig into his own monitors, which was really cool. So that was the first time I'd ever played it, and it was really incredibly exciting for me to play it then. And then the news that the port was coming was like, it's like a revelation. Like, oh my god, this is actually happening. So it was super exciting. It's a really cool game. I think maybe not the most difficult game or the most competitive game, but I think it has so much style and it's so much fun to play. So it's really great that more people can experience that now.
You probably haven't played the harder modes yet. Dang!
I've tried,
So-
but it's
Yeah. So there's a lot more stuff. So how about you, Trap 15?
So, those who know me might know a little special secret, but when I heard it was actually getting an official locals, like official home release, obviously I was blown away. It's a thing that
Yeah.
I was absolutely not expecting to happen, and so when it did happen, I was like, "Oh shit! It's happening! It's happening!
It's happening.
It's happening! Pigs are
So-
flying! Ron Paul's waving his hands around.
It totally
Happening!
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean-
that was sort of our reaction as well, because we
Uh-huh.
knew that it was such an ambitious thing to ask to get
Yeah,
a game
like-
with all of these. Because the original arcade machine was crazy. Like, how
Yeah.
many shmups do you know of that have 4-player co-op in 32:9 aspect ratio?
Yeah, in 2011, no less. But
Yeah.
like, the game was already like 4 years old, and they stopped doing events for it. So it was like, oh, it's dead. They're done with it. And then, oops, here's a port, and boom, mind blown.
So guys, yeah. And then how about you, Icarus? What were you thinking when it came out?
Couldn't
'Cause
throw
you
my
guys
money
did
at the
some-
screen fast enough.
Did you have it at Casino Arcade,
Yeah.
or where'd you guys play? So,
Yeah, we did have it at the Casino Arcade. We had the original Darius Burst AC, not the EX version. But I live at the opposite end of England, so I have to travel down to London to be able to play it. But a few years ago, they actually got rid of it because the casino closed down. So the other places that actually managed to get to play it was in Paris this year, because I stayed in Paris for a night, and we went to Arcade Street to play it, and also last year when I was in Tokyo. And other than that, it's actually really nice to have the game at home now, because I am absolutely in love with it, and it's just so good to play.
great.
Mhm.
So, I just want to share a personal memory of Darius Burst. So, when I first started out collecting arcade cabinets, I had been to a couple of shmup meets at my good buddy's Creighton's house. I decided to hold one at my own apartment, and so the NorCal people came down, Dave K, Black Oak, MDL, and a lot of people from the SoCal area came into my little apartment, and we even had Arcade Game who brought an Astro City cabinet in a truck and put it in my living room. So we were just jam-packed in there. Alimony brought sausages from Top Dog, and we just grilled it. We just had a great time. Anyway,
I can't believe how many people we actually stuffed in your tiny little apartment. It was
I
pretty
know.
amazing.
I feel kind of bad now because I didn't let on that I lived in such a small apartment. So I think the NorCal people came down and they were like, What? You're having a shmup meet here?" And I was like, "Yeah." So later on, after it was done, Jello Man, rest of NorCal people, Alimony, we all went to round one in Puente Hills to experience Darius Burst, and we just played and played and played, and it was just running a shmup meet, and then afterwards going for more shmups. It was amazing. So, Well, without further ado, I guess we should get into the run. We've got about 50 minutes in for this intro, so let's get into the run. So, which run do you want to queue up? Trap 15. You're the man on deck.
Let's start with ADH. I think that's a good intro to the game.
Rad.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's kind of the first route that a lot of people play with. It's got some really iconic stuff in it, so yeah, let's do it.
Okay, guys, have you guys all gotten the queued up?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, guys, so I'll do the countdown. All right, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push.
Full countdown. Hey, I want to, before we get too much into ADH, now there are a lot of modes and different versions of the arcade. So there's AC, there's EX. What all is Chronicle Saviours including? Can we get a quick rundown on that before we get into this specific run? Obviously, we have the run going, but so we have the 4 modes here. Like, you guys want to talk a bit about that? Because, I mean, there's a lot of content on this game.
So there's 2 modes. There's AC mode and CS mode. This is AC mode, and it's a pretty much perfect port of the arcade game. The arcade game in this case being Darius Burst, another Chronicle EX.
Okay.
And so that includes 3 modes. Well, 4, but event mode isn't in this, so 3. So you got original EX and Chronicle mode. Original is what you're seeing right now, which is essentially a normal arcade game.
Gotcha.
EX is the same sort of deal, but it's different stages and they're way harder. And Chronicle mode is sort of like an RPG progression-ish thing with like missions and unlocking stages and stuff.
And the missions can be really different. I mean, it could be like a boss rush. A lot of the time it's variant bosses, like different versions of the bosses that you played in the arcade mode. Or like a time trial. There's a lot of very specific things. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, Chronicle mode is pretty interesting. So, yeah, about your run, ADH. So, what's with the routes and stuff in this game then? How they differ from the other Darius games?
Alright, so in other Darius games, it's generally you start at A and you just keep picking up or down. In this one, you get to start with a selection of 3 stages, A, B, or C. So just like original Darius, or just any of the Darius games, up is easier, down is harder. So starting at A is easier than starting at C. So ADH is going all up, and while the name is easy, it's the end is not so nice. The last boss can still kill you even if you're pretty good at shooting games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Until you learn his tricks.
Okay.
And who is the last boss of ADH?
Violent Ruler.
I seem to recall having some trouble with him just the other day.
Yeah, he's a troublemaker.
That's one way to put it. But we'll get to that when we come to it, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, first boss. This fight is actually super cool with the music going, and it's all super epic and shit.
Yeah, music's great. That intro, so good.
And it sort of introduces you to the general way a lot of the bosses work, where they have destructible parts, and if you want all the points, you blow all of them up. And you've got counterbursting, like you just saw.
So counterbursting is when they shoot a big laser and then you shoot your laser at them?
Essentially, yes.
How's the timing work on that?
There's a couple ways to do it. Although actually they're the same, it's just the way they end up working is different. So when the boss shoots out a laser, he like makes a couple dings and this thing comes together. The 2 red lights come and like meet in the middle, and as soon as they do that, he shoots a laser out. And if you get your burst out right as it's hitting you, you get a counter burst. And then an alternate method that's actually the same but not worse. The way it actually works is the same. So you get your burst out right as you're getting hit by the laser, but you can like move into the laser and it still works. So that's
cut in.
Yes, that's the cut in technique.
Is that assuming you have some shield then?
You can actually do it without shield.
Yeah, you don't need shield, but it's kind of risky. Like Icarus here says cut-ins are easier than sitting in front of it, but I think he's wrong.
I definitely find cut-ins a lot easier to do because you can set yourself up for a lot more different types of counters, particularly ones that move fast. Like, well, the gluttons tend to fire burst laser that sweeps around the screen very quickly, and if you haven't practiced cut-ins, then it's very difficult to do that kind of burst counter. But cutting in Hungry Glutton's burst laser is actually really easy once you can get the timing right, and it's the same for a lot of the other burst lasers as well. It's more to do with timing and positioning relative to the burst laser, and that determines how easy it is. But once you've practiced the timing, it's actually very easy to do.
Speaking of positioning, one thing here with the detached laser and learning how to position that in different parts of the stages is pretty crucial for survival and scoring. Do you have any comments about that right now, Trap?
It's really hard, and that's why I play ships that don't have it. Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I like it. It's a really cool mechanic. It's just I cannot get the hang of it, and there's two different aiming types. So next...
next is weird.
Yeah, next, when you detach it, it follows you when you move, but Formula and Legend go the opposite way.
Yep.
So just trying to remember which ship you're using and all that, and I don't care.
Right, so you have a lot of different ship selections in this game as well, which was unique.
Yeah,
Yes.
how many ships are there? What are their names and what do they do?
Oh shoot, how many ships are there? There's like 8?
Yeah, there's a
9,
lot.
I think now.
And
Oh yeah, because they have the North
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Except that's only in CS mode, so you don't have you don't have to worry about that while you're playing AC mode. But yeah, there's 8 ships and they just all play entirely differently. So even if you're like the master of the game with Legend or whatever, you can go play second and play an entirely different game.
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially with Formula and Assault, which are completely different. Assault, you don't have the detaching, you have like it drops the kind of laser mine, and then Formula, you have the really short range standard shot. Like it doesn't even reach like a quarter of the way across the screen. So there's we could spend a long time talking about all the differences, but there's very drastic changes in the gameplay depending on which ship you pick.
Yeah, and I just want to say, with all those ships and with all these different modes, I know we're going to address this. People are thinking that that this game is really overpriced for Steam, but with all the modes and with all the different ships, and just like you can hook your 2 monitors up and play with 4 players at the same time. This is like truly, I want to say, a quadruple A title. That's every bit of
Whoa.
I mean,
You heard it first
shoot,
here.
I got the PS4 version for $60. It doesn't have multi-monitor, and I still feel I'm underpaying for it. It's so good. It's so worth it.
I mean, you got to keep in mind this game has literally like 3,000 stages if you count all the stuff in Chronicle and CS, which is like, yeah, go ahead and complain about the lack of content, how overpriced it is, guys. Once you've finished all those, come back and we can talk.
Yeah, Chronicle mode. Yeah, we'll have to get into that a bit more, but it's crazy. There's so many stages.
Yeah.
3,000. Come get some.
I mean, I don't know if that's a perfectly accurate number, but I know that I have the Darius Odyssey guidebook for the series, and that has a listing of all the Chronicle mode stages. The list has like 130 entries per page, and there's 24 pages.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know if they've changed it since, but before this happened, the Darius Burst AC webpage on Taito's website had like the actual like solar system thing, so you could actually go around and see all the stages and all the scores for them and shit. It's amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
So here's a background of the Darius chronology table off of the website, and I'll copy and paste that in the chat. So the world is okay. I'm gonna read the chronology, and it's gonna be really cryptic, but it's awesome. Okay, so Amnilian year 626. The Thema invade the planet Amnilius. The Silverhawk fighter is born, and the Thema are defeated. And then discovery of the planet Darius. So the Belsar attack Darius. They are repelled, but Darius becomes a dead planet. Humanity begins immigrating to the planets Orga and Vadis. Some of those who immigrated to Vadis begin to return to Darius. They're like, hey, let's go back to Darius. And then the Belsar attack the descendants of those who immigrated from Darius to the solar system. The people of Orga receive a distress signal and stage a rescue mission. Then the Belsar attack Darius, which have been revived for those who returned from Vadis. New Silverhawks equipped with a burst system launch a counteroffensive. And then now it's Darius year 1910. Mankind's great counterstrike against the Belsar army begins. How cool is that?
Man, Belsar. Crazy
We
name.
had a lot of fun translating that one.
Oh,
Yeah. Wasn't there something where like it was originally Belsur, and then you realized that it was mistranslated for like 10 years, and it's actually Belsar?
That was something that I actually asked about because I had seen on the Wikipedia page and virtually everywhere that it was translated as Belsur. And I was like, hey, you know, is this really right? I noticed that it's spelled Belsar in the game, and you know, I just wanted to check to make sure our translation was correct. And then, you know, my translator came back with, oh yeah, Belsar is now the new official translation. They feel like it's more accurate. So it was kind of an interesting surprise for me as well.
Neato.
That is amazing.
So, violent ruler!
Yeah.
Damn.
This guy's crazy. Look at this
Yeah.
guy.
You'll in no kind words, he'll fuck your shit up.
Yeah. I mean, you can already tell, just looking at it, that it's a pretty dramatic jump in difficulty compared to the rest of this route.
He's just rocking out there.
Oh yeah, he got the headbanging going on.
Remind me of that
With
dance
this
boss
music.
Magander.
This music
I remember.
Yeah, I want to say that you guys get so much music in this game too. From Zaarock.
I was absolutely thrilled when I went into CS mode and discovered that there were remixed tracks from classic Darius games. That was
They're,
a moment for me.
those are in Chronicle mode as well. It's just you have to play it for like hundreds of hours to get to them. Because
So-
they're pretty far in.
James is mentioning that Violent Ruler is a pushover with the detachable burst, as we can see here, actually. Yeah, I mean, he is, but the
Yeah.
first few times you play him, you probably won't know that that exists, or you probably won't know how to manipulate him with it. He's definitely very easy once you get a hang of things, but it's the first few times you fight him, you know, if you don't know what to do, you will probably...
He'll rule you. He'll
Yeah.
rule your world.
Or if you're using a ship that doesn't have a detachable burst, which is going by numbers, the majority of them.
Yeah, that's true. It's trickier that way. To be sure.
Using the fixed burst effectively is pretty tricky too. It's
Yeah.
something that you need to experiment with a little bit before you master it.
Definitely. And even though it's like listed in the controls for the game, I mean, I found that when I first played this, I didn't figure it out for like 2 or 3 credits. I didn't even realize that I could detach it. So maybe that's just a commentary on me, but I feel like it's not the most intuitive thing in the world. it takes a little kind of practice.
Here are all the ships. The 8 ships you get. Legend Silverhawk Burst. Next Silverhawk Burst. Formula Silverhawk Burst. Origin Silverhawk. Second Silverhawk. Gaiden Silverhawk. Assault Silverhawk Burst. And then finally, Genesis Silverhawk. Silverhawks!
Gaiden Silverhawk represent.
Yeah,
There's,
Gaiden is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Gaiden's great fun. Genesis is pretty fun too. Those like crazy counterburst lasers are pretty cool.
Find your favorite burst waifu.
Fuck.
This is like the least waifu game there is, man. Did you have to go there?
Coining new terms in every
You know what?
stream.
Actually, my bad. This game has Sylvalion, who is the best waifu, so...
Yes, this is
Yeah.
very true. I actually started making a recording for the route that gets Sylvalion, but I was trying to use the video clips thing that PS4 has, and it only does 15 minutes, so it cut the beginning. And I was like, ah, geez, well, that doesn't work, and I don't want to play it again. So, oh well. But yeah,
no,
everyone needs to take a route that ends in K, because oh man.
such a good fight. So good. I was streaming the first time that I got there, and people saw my reaction to it. Pretty great. So Jamers mentioned a few minutes ago that he's disappointed in the lack of a practice mode, which I admit is a little surprising given that most other shooting game ports have one. Blackbird, do you have any comment about that? And maybe we should queue up the next video too.
Yeah, I could talk a little bit about that. I guess from my perspective, it seems like a training mode would be a little bit less necessary in a game like this, because if you're going through an arcade route, then that's 3 stages continuously. And in the CS mode, actually, you're selecting short routes on an individual basis. So in a way, like, CS mode already has a level selector built into it. And I think Chronicle mode is the same way, where you're selecting individual stages to play. So unlike, for example, a game from Cave or some other shooting games which have a more traditional 5-stage or 6-stage format, you don't have to go quite as far to practice the latter half of a run in this game. So I think that was probably the logic behind not having a training mode.
You know, that actually makes a fair bit of sense. I mean, I can totally understand the disappointment in not having it, and frankly, I feel the same. I mean, I would love to be able to practice L without having to go through CG first, but there is something to be said for kind of the continuity of the experience and the fact that since the game is shorter and is more modular and is more flexible, it offers you some of the same kind of features.
I mean, if there's a lot of demand for a training mode, and if it's something that really needs to be in the game, I mean, let us know. We're always listening for player feedback, and if we see a lot of people who say training mode was a missed opportunity, then put that in the forums so that we can see it and pass it on to a pyramid.
Yeah, that sounds fair. I'd also like to throw my hat in on I would like a practice mode.
Yeah, in that case, I would officially like one, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, make the forum thread and get people posting in it, and that way it can be like, hey guys, there's like 40 people in this thread who want training mode. Let that it.
Oh,
And
it's
then-
Wow.
And that works nowadays.
Like, we
Right.
ask for stuff, and things get... All these games coming out on Steam, craziness. Here's your chance to talk to the developers, guys.
I mean, that's what happened with Mushihime-sama. Everyone's like, hey, we need this, we need local scoring, we need to fix the sound, and, because developers heard that information, it got done.
Yeah, just be polite about it, guys. Don't be a dick.
And Saloonist just said, all stages mode, please. Yeah, all stages mode needs to be an official thing. It's fun. All right, are we all queued up with the CS mode video?
Yep.
CS mode is next.
Yep.
All right, count us down, Ryan.
From 3.
What? What? Did someone say frenetic?
Yeah, I did.
Frenetic?
Yes,
Frenetic?
I did.
No real names here. I don't use it with the girls that I dated in the past, and I don't do that now.
I'm sorry.
He's just frenetic to the girls. No.
Okay? Soft drink.
Literally and figuratively.
It's like you're calling Superman Clark Kent. You just don't do it. Okay, let's do the countdown.
I'm
all right?
sorry. It was an accident.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, push.
So CS, it stands for Chronicle Saviours, right? What's up? What's going on with this mode?
Yeah, tell us.
Someone else do it.
Okay, Blackbird, can you tell us what's up
Yeah.
with...
Okay, so CS mode is a single-player story campaign, which is supposed to cover the entire timeline of the Darius universe, or the Darius narrative so far.
Wow.
And there are a lot of cameos of previous Darius games in CS mode. If you get far enough, there are a lot of ships present from classic Darius games, and also music. What else can I say about CS mode? You are fighting to liberate planets, which is where the Saviors part comes from. You're part of a flight group, and you are attempting to protect humanity from the Belsar in this mode. So that is where the Saviors aspect comes in. And I think that covers a lot of the basics about the mode. There are a lot of levels in this mode. There's 200 plus. So it's, again, a pretty deep mode.
And are missions usually one stage or groups of stages, or what was the deal on that too?
It can vary. There are different objectives for every one. Some of them start you off at maximum firepower, and you play that way, but there are fewer power-ups. Some operate more like the traditional game, where you have less power and you collect as you go along. Some are very short runs of only 2 areas or so. Others are more extended areas with 4 or 5, more similar to a traditional arcade run. And there are even some which are like boss rushes, where you just fight large enemies, huge enemy battleships one after the other. So it varies quite a lot within this mode.
That's fun. You never quite know what you're gonna get, huh?
It's like a box of chocolates.
Except all of the chocolates are extremely aggressive giant cyberfish.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's like a
my
buffet.
kind of box of fish.
Man,
I would really love to
There's
see a
box of
version
chocolates.
of Forrest Gump that did that. Life is like a box of giant radioactive space fish.
a feature-length film based off of that. All right.
Yes. Yes.
I opened this box, and now Hungry Gluttons is biting my face.
Yeah, Hungry Gluttons wants that box of chocolates, yeah. So, it's interesting that this is supposed to be a chronology of the whole series. I didn't really pick up on that, but that's really cool. Yeah.
There was a recent interview, actually, with Pyramid, where they were talking about the intentions behind the narrative in this mode. And they talked about G Darius as the beginning of the timeline. And they mentioned that the timeline in this game was supposed to conclude with the current narrative in the Darius Burst timeline. So, I haven't experienced all of it for myself yet, just because of the sheer number of levels, but I think that's the intention behind it, according to the developers.
Well, no, I mean it's really neat that they're doing that. Also, I like that there's kind of musical cameos in CS as well. Like this track is
Also,
from Gaiden, right?
Also, if you haven't noticed, the background is Zone B from Gaiden.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the Gaiden stage. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
So good.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like about CS mod. There's a lot of fan service for fans of the series. You can recognize like the stage being from Darius Gaiden. There's music which accompanies the respective ships as well. It's a really nice nod for longtime fans of the series to actually get involved in the chronology. That's what I like about it. It's a shame that they didn't go all the way though and actually return some of previous bosses into the game as well, because it would have been nice to see, Darius Gaiden, G Darius bosses, Darius 2 bosses, for example, to accompany them in the stages.
Yeah, within reason. I mean, I think there's a few bosses that we wouldn't really care to see come back. But
Yeah, of course. It'd be nice to see some of the end bosses in those games though, like the actual final root bosses. They'll be pretty cool to see. I would like to see like HD versions of, say, the Embryon, for example, or the Lightning Coronatus, because I don't think there's a Seahorse boss in Darius Burst. There is like a Seahorse mini boss, but not a full-size
there's like a mini
boss.
boss.
Yeah, it's the mini boss from Darius 2.
Yeah, but an actual full-size Seahorse boss would be pretty cool to see. Like,
Yeah. And then this boss is a variant of one of the ones that you can fight in the normal arcade game. This is kind of going back to that idea of variant bosses, which is a pretty big thing in the game. And some of them are really simple, like palette swaps with a couple different guns on them. Some of them are dramatically different in terms of how they behave, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
this
like
guy
the variety.
appeared just now is a mud wheel variant, and his main difference is that he has side lasers attached to his armored panels there, which all just got blown up.
Is Saviors mode multiplayer as well?
Wow, those dodges though.
Zaarock just asked Titanic Lance when.
Oh, I was gonna say Neon Light Illusion, but I thought it was a bit too much.
Yeah, Neon Light Illusion is too much, but Titanic Lance is so cool to see in this game. Because I mean, imagine seeing Titanic Lance across like the 2 HD screens, just filling up like the entire. Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would be so sick.
Just stick a mud wheel at the end.
I've played co-op with my friends before in Darius Gaiden, and a lot of times when we're playing co-op, Neon Light Illusion is one of the bosses that will end our run.
Yeah.
So we've taken to calling it Orpal Squid because it always executes us.
Yeah, it definitely does that.
It's not a fun boss.
I think it's fun. It's so hard.
It's the homing lasers.
Yeah, all the time. Just every time.
I think just homing lasers in general make things pretty challenging, which is good, but can be frustrating.
One thing that I just remembered just now about this mode.
2 snakes.
That's
Oh,
great.
That's evil.
Great.
That is the most evil.
Oh, that's awesome though.
Just one of them is a huge pain in the ass.
Ride the snakes.
Chat is just going all nuts. Titanic Lance when, then Iconoclast, boss health bars when, Kappa, and cloudy music, Kakusei mode when. Yeah, okay.
We're falling down the slippery slope here, guys.
But yeah, one of the big features that I forgot to mention is that the aspect ratio in CS mode is actually different from AC mode.
Mhm.
AC emulates the 32:9 ratio of the arcade, whereas because this one was designed for a home experience, specifically for the home console version, this is closer to a 16:9 aspect ratio and has a larger display if you're using only a single monitor.
Yeah, it almost looks like a 2.35 to 1 like you'd see in film, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure it's the same, but it definitely looks very similar.
Yeah, it's pretty close, I think.
Can you play Saviors with another person?
I believe this is a single player mode. I haven't tested the co-op in it.
Yeah, I gotta go for that 32:9 so you can fit all 3 of your friends on screen at once and go nuts.
And get super confused about who's who.
Can Blackbird, can you talk about the cabinet modes, like at what cabinet. By the way, guys, Shmups Farm mode cabinet is 11.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can explain the cabinet system if you like. Should I go over that real quick?
Please.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do.
Okay, so this game has a really interesting system in it where when you start up the game, you are randomly assigned to a different virtual cabinet. If you go into the settings menu, you can see the option to adjust the cabinet, and you'll see which one you're assigned to. And as you play levels or areas in AC's Chronicle mode, you'll be clearing out different areas and liberating different worlds. As you do this, everybody who is playing on the same virtual cabinet as you will get to see which worlds you've liberated and also see what your high score is on there. So essentially you're competing with everybody on the same virtual cabinet to see who can clear the worlds the most quickly, and also to see who can get the top score on every world in the Chronicle mode. It's a sort of MMO-like element, and it's very interesting, I think.
I like
also
it.
shares
I like it.
unlock progress, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
cooperative in that when one person clears it clears it for everyone else on the cabinet. So
Which is
you get
good,
the-
because otherwise it would take an eternity for most people to see some of the later Chronicle stages.
Yeah,
It's
I
actually
get the feeling if
because-
that wasn't in there, then probably nobody would see all of the Chronicle stages.
Yeah, some of the levels can only be unlocked by co-op play, so it's very helpful that
Oh, cool.
certain, because the levels
Castle!
the unlocks are shared, people who do the co-op can then unlock it for other people who don't do co-op and make sure that everybody gets to see all of the content.
That lighting
Yeah.
is almost seizure-inducing, but I love it. Oh, it's good.
So, Castle. Castle's an interesting boss.
I love
Castle's
this guy.
Dick boss.
Maybe we can
It's-
take
it's-
this very lengthy boss to get to talking about how the scoring works in these games.
I don't think this run is trying to pick them apart.
Oh,
No, this is
just going for it.
the speed kill one. This one, the
Okay.
next one will be though. You want me to talk about scoring very quickly, or?
yeah,
Yeah, go
let's hear
for
about
it.
it so we can
Yeah.
when we see some other stuff.
Well, Darius Burst obviously follows the same scoring system as the previous games, where in addition to destruction points, you also get a formation bonus if you destroy an entire wave of enemies. But it also improves on Darius's system, where depending on what you destroyed the enemy or formation with, you get a multiplier applied to it. You can see the multiplier up where the power-ups are. Currently it's x24, so you get 24 times the base value of enemies and formations. But there is also a hidden multiplier as well on top of that, based on whether or not you're using standard burst or counter burst. Standard burst multiplies that current multiplier by 3 times if you're assault or 4 times for any other ship, and counter bursting multiplies by 6 times for most ships, not including, I think it's Genesis and Assault, which get a 7 times multiplier. So Genesis and Assault actually have the highest possible multipliers in the game, which is over 110 to base
Wow.
value.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so the actual way to play the game for score is to kill everything with standard burst, but obviously that is quite difficult to do because it's slow regeneration and very difficult to actually build up in some stages. But otherwise, it's a pretty involving scoring system. I mean, the game looks and feels fairly simple at first, but there is quite a lot of optimization that you can do based on that scoring system.
How do you raise the gauge?
Yeah, in general, how do you build multiplier, I guess?
I'm not entirely sure on this per se because I haven't actually figured it out yet, but it seems like there's some kind of hidden chain meter somewhere, similar to like say a Dodonpachi where you kill stuff and it boosts it up. It feels to me, as you can see here, when I'm destroying like a large cluster of enemies, it builds up very quickly, but
Oh yeah. It was.
Yeah, on smaller packs or like more sparsely spaced out packs, it takes a lot longer to build up, so it kind of feels like there is a chaining meter somewhere which helps you build it up. But generally, I've found that the best way to build it up is to use either fixed burst or standard burst to quickly clear out a group of enemies and to build it up very quickly.
And then an important thing to note is whenever you take a hit, your multiplier drops.
Yes,
so,
it does.
Yeah.
Getting, like, it's not just dying that's a penalty. You actually do get penalized for using your shield. So it's not like a get home free pass.
Yeah, dying
You
receptive
get
back.
penalized even if just your force field is hit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I just point out that this variant of Gluttons is pretty dickish? Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Brute Gluttons is the hardest version of the Gluttons.
Dude.
That's awesome. Oh,
I need to
play
fight
this
this
game.
one. I need to fight
Oh.
this one.
Yes, I need to play it like right now.
I love all the Gluttons bosses. They're all just so much fun to fight.
Yeah.
Heck with evil.
Yeah, a little trick I learned with this boss is that you should conserve your black hole bomb until it does the Space Invaders pattern and then bomb all of them, because if you leave the fish alive, they fire lasers instead of bullets.
Oh god.
So you,
What?
instead of dodging through these like small pellet bullets, you're trying to dodge through lasers, and that becomes very difficult when you've got that purple homing laser coming after you as well.
Laser hell.
Laser hell.
That's incredible.
I love how many like small enemies and things there are in this game.
Yeah,
They just like
it's a-
fill up the whole screen sometimes.
It's a pretty great looking game.
Yeah.
There's so much detail to it, and it's so flashy with the effects. I think visually and just kind of and audibly, sort of in terms of the overall experience of playing the game, is pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a key word. Like this game is an experience. That's like the bottom line.
Yeah,
Like you gotta try it out.
definitely.
And if possible, like build like a black room and just put the computer in there and then get the surround sound, so it's just like the arcade.
Yeah, and put bass shakers underneath the seats. Then it's arcade style.
You need flashing lights too for the boss warnings.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot that they do that.
You
That's
know,
so
guys, we should get butt plugs wired into the game, so when the bass goes
What?
and it's in your butt, it'll be awesome.
Nah, not Res all over
God.
again.
And then you can, and then you can really Darius Burst.
Whoa, bro.
What?
Oh, okay then.
Did I say something?
Moving right along.
I don't know. Did
You
you?
went a little too far in a couple places.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Well, what's the next video?
CFJ.
All right, CFJ.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see.
All right, I'm ready.
Yep.
So while we're in between runs here, one thing that I was looking at when we were talking about the scoring discussion earlier, you mentioned that ideally you would want to destroy every enemy in this game using the burst. Now, do you also get a bonus for using the fixed burst, or is it just the straight burst that
It's just
gives you a
standard
bonus?
and counter bursts that have the additional bonus to the multiplier. Fixed burst only gives you what your current multiplier is.
Okay.
Yeah, so technically you can use the fixed burst as defense, but it's not very good for scoring. The only real bonus to using fixed burst here and there is it actually helps your burst gauge charge faster.
Oh, it does.
Yes, it does, by either blocking
yeah,
bullets or enemies, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
that
is
was
really
kind of what I was
counterintuitive.
thinking, because the fixed burst can recover very quickly or last for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking internally in my head, like, well, if you could keep the fixed burst going for a long time and it had a multiplier, then you could get a lot of points that way. But it sounds like it's only the straight shot that gives you the bonus.
Yeah, that's right.
So then, since the straight burst consumes a lot more power more quickly, then it almost seems like it would be almost like a hyper kind of scenario where you would want to save it for enemies that are very lucrative and try to get points off of them rather than use it, frequently.
Yeah, that's generally the idea. You've probably noticed that certain formations are worth a lot more. Say, for example, those large horned ships that appear in places in one big line. If you destroy the last one, it's usually 30,000 points for the formation, multiplied by a multiplier. So if you use fixed or counterburst on them, you actually get a lot more points for them, like nearly 2-3 million each time. So it's definitely worth it. And don't forget that standard and counter burst multiplier bonuses also apply to enemies outside of formation. So I wasn't kidding when I said destroy everything with standard or counter burst.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it explains how you're kind of milking some of the enemies that do shoot lasers during the stages for counterburst instead of just for more burst energy.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, we were looking at ADH before. I was actually stalling on Iron Fossil to try and destroy as many of the scales as possible, and it's probably, well, it is actually more lucrative to do when you've got a counter burst because those scales are worth a lot of points.
Yeah,
And the highest I've actually seen someone finish area A in is 55 million. The highest I've ever come up with is like 28 million, so there is quite a lot of point gain available.
That's a pretty high score ceiling.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome. I didn't realize it was so much up. This is a really cool game. All right, are we
guys,
up with,
are you
CFJ?
ready for Darius Burst CFJ?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm ready.
Okay, guys, on your mark, get set, go, click.
Worst countdown ever.
Please. Where are we?
Redo.
Yeah, let's redo it.
Okay.
Guys, I thought you would like me to mix it up. Okay, I won't do that.
Well, you didn't have us go on go. You had us go after go, which makes no sense.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and do the old classic then. I'm too advanced for you. I'll do it. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, click.
There we go.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's cool.
So this replay should be interesting to people because it's played with second, which is the Darius 2 ship, and second doesn't have a burst. So there is no way to defend. But this is a new PB as well on this route with the ship.
This is where you take apart one of the castles, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I think I managed to get the 100% as well.
Ooh, that's awesome. I need to see this.
100% and quick kill.
Yeah, so CFJ is basically the best route. It's the best.
Yeah, it's
just so much fun.
Yeah, it's very challenging, but it's not ridiculously hard like some of the other routes.
Yeah.
And there is still quite a lot to go as well because my personal best in this replay is 174 million. Second can get 250 million.
Wow.
And Assault,
it's
the world
impressive.
record is currently 330 million.
Yeah, Assault scores are crazy. Assault is so much fun to play.
Yeah, it's because Assault has, like I mentioned before, the highest possible multiplier available from Counterburst, which is like 119, I think. But yeah, this ship has no burst unit, so it's just pure Darius all the way. And it's a very tricky way to begin this as well, because until you get the red bullet shot, you're pretty much stuffed for shot power here.
Yeah. This section can be quite demanding if you don't have a ship with burst.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way of handling it there. You were very, very aggressive in the opening.
Yeah.
I don't think the ship has bombs either.
No,
Nope.
it's not like a Darius Gaiden bomb.
Yeah, it's quite literally the Darius 2 ship.
To compensate,
Which is
for
really cool. But
yeah, to compensate for the lack of burst, though, it has the highest shot power as well.
yep.
Yeah,
It's very strong.
Yeah.
It also has a pretty high multiplier cap, so it maxes at times 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is really cool about this game is that the ships are all pretty usable. They're all balanced in some way. I mean, I don't know, literally every single one of them is, but the majority of them are definitely equally usable in terms of their ability to clear the game and their ability to score reasonably well.
Yeah, all of them except Origin. Origin's just kind of poop.
Origin isn't too bad, but you do have to play the game pretty much at point blank because you need to use your bombs, the
Yeah.
multi-bombs, effectively. Otherwise, it is actually quite
kind of
bad.
like a tiering of the ships. Like some of them are a little bit more powerful than others, but they're all definitely very playable.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
First
Music
boss,
is so
the shark, isn't exactly that difficult, so
No.
you do want to try and destroy all the fins, but to phase it to this form here, you have to destroy the dorsal fin as quickly as possible. One interesting note as well, do you see these green lasers that it's firing? For burst ships, you can actually recharge a burst by dropping a fixed burst on them.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I like most about the routes that start with C is that they all have really, like, they're really fun, they're challenging, and they all have really great music.
Yeah.
Uh,
I actually
Yeah.
prefer the music in the A routes because it's the photosynthesis suite, and absolutely adore that part of the soundtrack.
No, I mean, ADH is great too, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, this stage is actually pretty tricky to optimize, and I haven't actually perfected it yet because there's a lot of these lines of enemies flying around, and trying to get them all efficiently is really tough. And then this bit here,
Ooh, this
you
bit
see-
at the end, yeah.
yeah, with the circles of enemies, the ones that appear on the right you must destroy as quickly as possible because they carry power-ups, and it's very easy to actually miss them if
Yeah.
you're not paying attention. And this last wave actually fires destroyable bullets, and if you don't pay attention, you can actually lose quite a lot of your shield as well. Phantom Castle. This one's actually harder than Mirage Castle because on the second form, when it tries to disappear off the top or bottom of the screen, it fires homing lasers instead, and they are extremely difficult to avoid, which is why it's advised that you go for the 100% and quick kill method, because it makes dealing with it a lot easier. The method is pretty simple. It's basically you destroy parts, but you try and leave the boss in a symmetrical state. As you can see, I'm just picking off very specific bits and trying to not destroy like one whole side, for example.
By the way, do those lasers actually hurt you? Because there have been
No.
conflicting opinions on that.
No, the
No.
huge green lasers do absolutely nothing other than getting your view.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's fun.
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
They look really imposing, but I love that
Yes.
they don't do anything.
They're extremely scary, but they literally do nothing.
Yeah.
The lasers do nothing. I wonder if that was intended.
Yeah, it is.
Sure
And
it
it just it scares people when they first see it. It's like, oh, you've got to avoid it. But yeah, once you actually realize that you can actually pass through them, it makes that form a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think this
So-
boss is a really interesting design. He reminds me a lot of like a hermit crab or something like that, where he's just sort of assembled this home out of all of these random panels and guns and things. And you have to pick apart all of the parts, and you find that it's just this tiny little pufferfish inside of it.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
that's not
adorable.
afraid to shoot lasers at you.
Yeah, I mean, it would be an adorable boss if it weren't for the fact that he's a giant dick. So.
Yeah.
So basically, the strategy here is just to kill things evenly and delay the execution long
Yes.
enough that you can get these parts on the sides here, and then take everything else all out at once so that you actually get everything. Because otherwise, when you kill one half, he'll start spinning it out, right?
That's right, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to destroy these side pieces here when it's side on too just yet because you need to pick off the rest, but you do want to damage them. This part is actually very good for regenerating burst energy as well because you can destroy, these small drones and the destroyable bullets as well. And it helps to regenerate burst for later. The only thing I don't like about this boss is this does take a long time to do though, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh shit, Kiso in chat, he has a great comment about those big lasers. It's a mirage, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point you can destroy the front parts and you can start damaging the boss.
So the boss does take damage even in this form.
Yeah.
It's incredibly useful that he does, because you really don't have to fight the second form for very long if you just
Yeah, noticing
hurt him
that in
in
the
the
last
first one.
round. So basically, the quick kill method is to damage him as much as you can in this form, without destroying all of his armor bits.
Yep.
So that by the time you get to his second form, he's pretty much a pushover.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
It's pretty sweet.
It's usually a good idea as well to try and damage the remaining pieces a little bit, just to make it easier for you to destroy them all when you get to the last phase of this.
So this is actually quite impressive to see, because it's just so much dodging, and the dodging in this game is not always that easy. It's pretty easy to accidentally take a hit, I find.
Yeah.
But you're doing a really good job of it here.
It's a lot easier on the arcade mode display resolution, because you've got all that extra width on the left side. It's a lot harder on CS or even the PSP and iOS versions, because there's not as much room to move, and Mirage Castle takes up a lot of space normally.
Okay.
Yeah, Zaarock, it's definitely easy to chain hit and chain death in this game, especially against Great Thing. Like that's a real thing.
Yeah, chain death against Great Thing is very easy. Yeah, right about now you should pick everything off.
Comfortable with
Gotcha.
the hitbox yet myself. Having the force field around you makes it a little bit harder sometimes to tell exactly where your ship is.
Yep, definitely. Especially if you're kind of very quickly looking back and forth and trying to... Because with the huge width of the screen, you tend not to actually look at where you are, I find. You tend to kind of guess where your ship is, which can be problematic.
Yeah.
Very nicely done, though. That's really cool. I need to remember that trick for next time.
Yeah, once you get the method down for that, it becomes quite easy to do. And it's much safer to do it on Phantom Castle as well, because like I mentioned before, when he's in the unarmored mode, he fires homing lasers a lot.
Yeah.
And they are very hard to avoid. I mean, I've been trying to work out whether or not there's a decent method to dodge them, but I still haven't come up with anything. Is there?
I can do it pretty consistently.
Cool.
You sort of just need to mostly take like hard turns rather than moving diagonally all over the place.
Okay.
It's tricky. I'll try to do it on stream sometime.
Yeah, I would love to see that, because that second form always gets me with those things.
Yeah, I'm pretty consistent at dodging them, so.
And teach me Trap Senpai.
And one thing we saw in that fight was that by doing the boss that way, the central part of it was so weakened by the time the combat was over that the second form didn't even really get to start. You destroyed it almost immediately.
Yeah. This part of stage J is probably the hardest for me, not just with second, but with pretty much all of the other ships, because these two snakes appear, and there's all this rock stuff.
Yeah, stuff always gets through.
Yeah. And it's also very easy to miss that shield power-up, which appears in the upper half of the screen as well.
Yeah.
And
that
flying past.
Really bad spot for the second half of the stage.
Yeah. Once you get past that rock storm, it's pretty much plain sailing after that.
Yeah.
You can see second is actually very strong as well. Once you get it fully powered up with these scatter lasers, it pretty much covers the whole screen.
That's really cool. I don't think I've ever gotten second to be fully powered up, so it's interesting to see for sure.
Yeah. Second is actually a really good ship to play as. Once you actually get used to its intricacies, it's really good fun, and plus you don't have to worry about bursting to score, because it has it's got a times 60 base multiplier applied all the time, so you can just shoot everything.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The shot type is very satisfying.
Yeah.
I think this ship kind of very closely emulates the classic Darius experience where you're just powering up your base weapon, and it has that really powerful, strong main weapon. So you're not having to worry about some of the more complicated elements of the game if you're just learning some things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like a recreation of the ship from Darius 2.
Yeah.
And the Gaiden ship is, I think, a very close recreation of the ship from Gaiden as well. So
yeah. The Space Invaders fish.
Space Invaders fish, yeah. It's actually quite a nice homage, I think. Like, you don't really notice it unless you're watching the replay, but it's actually quite funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And this Gluttons is the easiest of the three, so you don't have to deal with as much as the other two.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's really nerve-wracking to fight him with Genesis, though, if you're trying to kill him with the counterburst.
Oh yeah.
Because you're just constantly like, is he gonna die on this one? Is he gonna die? And then he doesn't, and then you kill him right after, and you feel really bad.
Oh, I hate that. That's one of the things I hate about playing as a burst chip is when you run out of burst and then your shot destroys the boss straight afterwards. You say, oh!
Yep.
Gotta go again. This fight is actually really, really fun playing as second. Because you do have to dodge a hell of a lot more. If I was playing as next, I would, put up a wall and block most of the bullets and just sit behind it. But here, you got to pay attention to what's going on. Also note that this is one of the few bosses that you can actually milk, but the milking isn't as lucrative as it is on the PSP or the iOS version. Particularly the iOS one.
Those Space Invader piranhas are absolutely adorable.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
Oh, I always forget about these like snake lasers. Those are fun.
Yeah. There is a little bit of a gap right at the bottom of the screen if you lead them up to the top.
Yep. Nice.
And that was no damage on that boss as well.
Yeah, that was really nice. That's another interesting thing about these games, or this game, I should say. I feel like you tend to either no miss or like take tons and tons and tons of damage and die pretty early in the run and then recover.
Oh yeah.
Because the shield system makes it pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You can take tons and tons of hits on your first life, but then if you get killed, you only have one heading into the next life, which is brutal. So
Yeah. I mean, one thing I like about the arcade game, the Darius Burst AC, is that it's a lot more intense than the two previous ones in the Burst series, and it's kind of similar in scale and scope to G-Darius and Darius Gaiden, but not as long, which is what makes it really nice to play. You can just play like in short bursts, and 10-15 minutes your credit's done, and you don't have to worry about slogging through the run if you've made a mistake very early on or something. You can just quickly restart and get going again, and that's what I like about it. It's very fast, but you can take it in little chunks. I think I mentioned this on the forum as well, that the Chronicle mode and CS mode are basically just, to me anyway, very small bits of AC mode rolled into one. So if you fancy something different from arcade mode, you can just go straight into Chronicle mode and play something with like some kind of restriction, and challenge yourself in different ways with the game. So it's really nice that way.
Nice.
yeah, definitely.
All right, so we got some other replays here. Should we go now with this BEI one? What's the preface on this?
This is with the Gaiden ship, which you saw a little bit in the CS mode video. And you're gonna see the turtle, which is something.
Oh my god!
Oh, cool.
The turtle.
And then you also get the best ending in the game. So, yeah.
Okay. And this one's starting at 2418.
Yep.
Yes.
Frenetic had to depart to important duties, but I'll be resuming hosting for him. So, Godspeed, Frenetic.
Yes, thank you, sir. Good luck.
All right, I'll bring us. I'll do a countdown here. Bring us in. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, people are mentioning it's weird that the transition screens while it's loading aren't translated. And I have to say that is kind of weird. I don't really mind it so much myself, but it's kind of funky.
There's a lot of text there. Translating it is a lot of work.
But I mean,
Especially
the endings and stuff are translated, so.
Yeah, those are like 3 lines at most, though.
Yeah.
And these are like actual things. Oh, I guess that was the wrong timestamp.
Restart.
Mindhead when leaving.
I like that.
Definitely happened to me a few times.
You hit your head. Mindhead.
When you take a hit at the very beginning of a run before you have a shield, it's just like the worst feeling ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this ain't going nowhere.
Is this a let's?
So let's.
I feel like the mind head thing is like the ultimate insult because it's just like, oh, you got completely, dunked on by this game, and now you stood up so fast you hit your head.
Yeah, and you see that they warned you, but you didn't actually notice it.
Yeah. Yeah, clouding music, I think that's probably what it is that it's probably just a single image, and
Yeah.
the text probably isn't really that readily replaceable.
So Gaiden powers up super fast, just like
Yes.
in Gaiden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a really fun ship to play. It
It
feels really powerful, and it just like floods the screens with, like, it just floods the screen with effects all the time.
And the bomb is super fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
There it is.
Oh man, I really rocked this timestamp, yo. I thought I got it, but I guess not.
It's all good.
LOL.
I'm pretty sure it's this one.
So, with another death there, that lets me comment on something else that I really like about the Gaiden ship. It has the classic sound effects from the Gaiden game, including the bomb and the death sound, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Origin second ships also have that, which I thought was pretty cute as well. Especially the Origin one, because it always has the cute sound effects.
Oh, man. Oh, Blackbird, I have a question for you since we're rewatching this part. What are Pyramid and chara-ani's involvement with the game? Could you comment about their roles?
Sure. Pyramid is the actual developer of the game. They have the franchising rights from Taito, and they were the primary developers for this game.
So they're the ones that kind of had the idea originally to bring the arcade game out, I guess. Is that
they
is
did
that
all
true?
the coding work to get it done, basically.
Okay. Was it
Whereas,
Taito's idea to originally bring it back out? One of the heads, or?
I don't know who made the decision at like the high level to finally do it.
Okay, carry on, please.
And as for chara-ani, I believe they are the publisher in Japan. They're helping Taito with that.
Okay.
Is that just for the port, or?
Yeah, they have nothing to do with the original arcade version.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, so they published support, and then Degica, of course, published this release.
Yeah, we're kind of like the worldwide, publishing helpers.
Okay, gotcha. Is Pyramid known for anything else?
Patapon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the game everyone got a PSP for.
Oh,
and probably
Patapon.
still the
Yeah.
best PSP game.
Wow. That's so funny.
Yeah.
One thing that you should all check out after this stream sometime, there was an article posted on Forbes recently where there was an interview with the Pyramid developers, and they talked in a pretty good amount of detail about their involvement with developing this game, and it kind of explains some of their decisions on how they did things, and it was an extremely interesting article. And if you're interested in the development process of this game, I think you would really enjoy checking it out.
I'll be sure to include
Yes.
that in the YouTube description because it was a pretty sweet article.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. I need to go through it.
I haven't read that one, but I've actually been really impressed with the recent kind of reviews of shooting game releases coming from them. I think traditionally people who are fans of the genre have a tendency to look on mainstream reviewers as kind of like, wow, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. And certainly some of the reviews that come out for shooting games tend to be pretty hilarious. But recently the stuff that's been coming out of the Forbes that I've seen is quite impressive, actually. They're doing a good job, so...
Yeah, can we finally get over these stupid stigmas that have been surrounding the franchise forever?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Thank
really
you.
cool. It's cool to see, mainstream reviewers taking the genre seriously. It's cool to see these games being published on Steam. I really feel like there's a lot of momentum for this genre right now, and it's really great to be, just involved with that. So.
Our recent experience has been extremely positive. One of the things that I feel like we've been able to discover by publishing these games and talking to people is that there actually are a lot of people who are really big fans of these games and get excited when we release them. So we do have people that, get excited for new Cave games or new Darius games, and, that's very encouraging.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who really... there's a lot of ways that this genre resonates with people, but it's kind of been hidden from public view for a long time. So, one of the things that I've always really enjoyed about when we go to conventions and stuff and try to show these games off in a public setting is that people get really into it. They always say, oh, I played games like this when I was younger. And I think it's less that they're not interested in it and more that they just don't know that it still exists because they don't really see them around that often anymore. So it's really cool to see them getting so much more traction lately. Anyway, though, the turtle.
Yes, the turtle.
Here.
He's here to make your life miserable.
Hey, give us a recap on this replay here.
The turtle likes to spin around at the bottom and mess with you with the banana lasers. And
He's just hoarding those bananas in his shell.
Yeah.
For the lasers.
No sharing allowed.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to articulate exactly why this boss is so bad because it doesn't look
Yeah.
like it would be that bad, but it's just really not fun and tends to just like really mess me up when I play.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain why he is so difficult. It's just, oh man. It's
It's mostly this pattern here. It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's mostly this one.
Oh man, that's
The
very Darius 2 like of a boss to do.
yeah, the homing lasers and then the actual lasers and then now you've got blue lasers and lasers everywhere.
I'm actually kind of getting like a turbo violent ruler vibe right now with that attack.
Yeah.
Across the
Yeah.
bottom of the screen and is just spamming up, vertical walls of bullets and homing lasers at the same time to trap you in.
it's the same idea with the attack, moving back and forth, preventing you from kind of camping in one spot, and then all these nasty spreads from everywhere. But,
Yeah, and because of the purple lasers, you can't really even use your fixed burst to deal with it because those lasers block the fixed burst, and so it just makes it not work at all.
He lays eggs?
Yeah, dude, he's a turtle.
I guess it's a she then. What? I didn't know that. I did not know the evil turtle was in fact female.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I never made it that far in this boss. It's always died before then for me, so...
And then there's these spinning destructible bullets that turn into other bullets that
Oh, yeah,
land on
those
you
are...
again.
Those are so much fun.
Yeah,
By
so
which I mean none at all.
I was gonna try to bomb this boss dead, but then I saw the timeout cubes and was like, all right, I'm done. It's time to go. Ooh.
They get those same timeout cubes from the original games.
Yes.
Yep.
That's cool.
They are
Those cubes are
hyper-aggressive
evil.
as well. Yeah.
The cubes
really
are there to let
aggressive.
you know.
Oh man, flashbacks to my fatty glutton epic fight that I have on YouTube.
This stage is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like this stage a lot.
And the music's awesome. Music's always awesome.
If it's not awesome, you're just being overwhelmed by just how crazy it is. I find.
Yeah, it's great.
But I feel like it matches the gameplay usually pretty nicely, so...
Yeah, definitely.
If there's ever like too much cacophony, like it's just matching the gameplay.
Oh! That was a
Whoa.
little close there.
I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, oh, I mean, you did. That giant, like, anglerfish, though, I love that he just, like
Yeah, he's just like,
barrels
see
down.
ya, I'm out of here.
He's just like, fuck this guy. He just...
I wanted to bomb him, but I had just used a bomb, so...
Yeah. And the turret rings. The turret rings are fun.
Yeah, especially when you forget that you didn't kill one of them and then it comes back around and whacks you really hard.
Yeah, that's...
Oh.
Oh, Jesus,
Oh.
that's...
Dang.
Yikes.
You know, I thought you meant just more as, like, a general
No.
concept. That was bad.
Oh.
Alright, you got this. Yeah, they can definitely be aggravating when they do move back around. But it's a fun segment because it's challenging, I think. Yeah,
So when you guys play, you guys are usually like looking at the far right of the screen usually, or head of the ship. How do you
Not
deal with the big screen? Because maybe that's a question for some people too.
Usually I'm focusing on like the middle of the right screen, so
Yeah.
like 3/4 of the way forward, just like any other shooting game, I guess.
Yeah,
Mm,
pretty
mm.
much. But
And
there's
yeah.
definitely moments, and it depends. Like against a great thing, there's a lot of times when I'll end up looking pretty closely to my ship because he
Yes.
covers so much of the screen, and you have to be pretty precise with your dodges. So
Right.
I think you're looking around a lot more with this game, especially if you
Yes.
actually play it with 2 monitors or you play it in the arcade because it's so big.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more dynamic in a way.
Yeah, there's a lot more like looking around the screen rather than just like having a fixed place where you're looking.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, refreshing. Those things look like pinball paddles almost. That's in the front.
Mhm.
Oh.
I love the unicorn horn. It's just
Yeah,
like
me too. It's so good. It's like
Dang.
you weren't expecting this. All right, take a couple hits on your shield.
yeah.
Oh.
He's just like, I'm a unicorn. it's beautiful.
Yeah. You only have 1 hit on your shield left. This boss without defensive, yeah.
Chet just
Not-
said something really funny. What if the timestamp is still incorrect and it has a surprise failed ending?
Oh no.
Oh, you can believe I was on edge here.
Yeah.
Because this is where he starts getting really hard too. Starts throwing a bunch more lasers at you.
I feel like I have in shooting games when you get that moment where you're like about to clear and you're down to the wire, like you got no more stocks, you got no more shields, you got no more bombs, like that's the best thing. It's terrifying, but it's also so much fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Alright, so let's see this best ending. What's that in the corner there?
Alright, I was wondering if that was just me. I don't know. It wasn't there when I was playing.
Some PS4 thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Looks like it was like censoring your like credentials there.
Oh, maybe it was. Oh, you know,
Cool
I
that
bet
it
it
does
was.
that.
I think it was an achievement.
Oh, it's like you don't get to see that in the video.
Yeah.
This is kind of weird.
It's
Oh
something.
man. Simulated ending.
Oh, the ending was you weren't even fighting yet.
Yep. Time is of the essence. Good hunting, gentlemen.
The
Go to Chronicle mode.
Good
I
hunting,
like that.
gentlemen. That's a meme. God damn it! I gotta say like every time now, whenever someone's playing some shmup or whatever.
No, the go to Chronicle mode thing is great.
Speaking
Now
of
ready
go
for
to
real
Chronicle
battle.
mode. Speaking of go to Chronicle mode, let's go to Chronicle mode.
Yeah. Should
Alright,
we
well.
skip ahead, or is there should we just wait?
Your choice, I guess.
Go to the timestamp because we are an hour and a half into the episode, so we may have to maybe cut out some maybe one or two of these other replays after this, but we'll see. Let's do a Chronicle then.
Yeah, the Chronicle one's like 7 minutes. It's pretty short.
Alright, I'm queued up.
So my
Me too.
Give me a sec here. What? Yeah, I'm good. All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. 1 hour and 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yep.
You actually see some of the menus of the Chronicle mode right here.
Yep.
Yeah. I was actually just like looking around trying to pick one, and I picked one, cleared it, so good enough.
Yeah,
I really
fun thing
do.
about-
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. The fun thing about Chronicle mode is there's actually a lot of planets available, but to unlock them you have to clear the red node that's on the map, and the red node is generally very, very difficult.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. But it's a pretty fun way to actually go through this the map. When you clear one of the hexes, it actually clears it opens up all the hexes around it, so you can actually change the path towards the red node if you want to. And I think it's actually quite important that as well, because some of the nodes we can't actually play yet because they are multiplayer nodes.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is yeah.
Yeah.
That's one frustrating thing about it, is that it does kind of require multiplayer to complete.
Yeah. Some of the restrictions are pretty good in Chronicle mode, though. Saloonus just mentioned one of them has a 1 credit clear requirement. There's some of them with like fixed equipment where your weapon set is fixed, basically.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of different ones, and like I mentioned before, it's actually quite a nice diversion from arcade mode, where you can play a small set of stages with a very strict requirement and challenge yourself in different ways. The CS mode takes it a little bit further in that you actually have score targets for some of the stages as well.
Ouch.
Yeah, I couldn't burst today, so I tried it a few times in this run, I think, and failed.
So
yeah.
a question about the multiplayer nodes. Do you actually have to beat them with multiple players in order for it to count?
Yes.
Yes.
That's brutal. But you can play them as just one player, right?
I guess. Yeah, you can plug in other controllers and hit start on them. Maybe.
My
No, I mean,
understanding-
I thought you could start them with just one person.
Yeah, my
But
understanding
it just
is
didn't
that
count.
you can play all of them, but that when it checks the requirements for clearing the mission at the end, you won't be able to clear it unless you did it co-op.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. Because if you're a single person beating a mission designed for 4 people, that's kind of cool.
Sounds like the Shmups Forum people have to congregate a bit more.
Which kind of brings me to a question that came up earlier in
Or
chat.
whoever.
Are there any plans for online co-op functionality?
It would be really cool. I think there are a lot of people who would like to see that. I've explained in the past some of the reasons why it's a very challenging feature to implement for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Just from a mechanical standpoint of getting it to work correctly, if you have even a few milliseconds of latency online, then that can be the difference between being dead and not dead.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
it's also fairly expensive to develop, from a business side standpoint. So, something that would be really cool. I don't know if Pyramid is able to do it, but I definitely know that there is interest in it, and I think a lot of people would like that feature.
If anything, like, you can just, trick one of your, like, IRL friends to come over and have them play the game with you, and then they'll probably be pleasantly surprised, because
Yeah,
I think your average person will enjoy playing this game just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I've had
Average
just, like,
gamer, I guess.
random friends who don't really play shooting games. I'm like, hey, you should play this with me, and they do, and they're like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, how can you?
That's cool. I've never had that experience.
I've actually had that experience as well. For whatever reason, my friends seem to enjoy playing Darius more than other shooting games that I've shared with them. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Maybe someone has some theories about that?
Probably just kind of how straightforward they are.
Yeah,
In general, probably helps it.
straightforward, the strong atmosphere and style, I guess.
It's pretty fun to blow stuff up in this game in general, so... Well, at least it looks like it. I haven't played yet.
So, is there any difference between Insane Stare here and normal Brightly Stare?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Whoa, that was a cool
It's
transition.
totally different things. In regards to WTF are you doing? Very clearly failing at bursting.
Oh, I see. The shots are like wave. That's cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tricky, and you don't realize they're doing that until you get hit by them.
That's really cool, actually. Okay, never mind. I take back what I said. That's really dickish and awesome. So, yeah.
I think this boss is really interestingly designed as well. I love the part where he almost fakes you out into thinking that you've destroyed him, and then just his eyeballs start attacking you.
Yeah, that's so good.
Wait, is that like a Bob Ross Kappa? Like, I didn't know that was a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So the ending for beating one is pretty good. It's all super dramatic.
Oh, that was short. That was shorter than I thought. Okay.
Your name will go down in history for your achievement.
Yeah, that's pretty great. And then it's got like a black and white photo of Gluttons. That is Gluttons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like chilling over there, like. So.
Okay, we have time to continue on with the videos, I think.
Alright, so we
Yeah,
have
get the other
QUZ and CGL left.
No, we have ORV and
QUZ.
QUZ.
Oh wait, so the CGL we're not using?
Right.
Okay, I did not know that. Could someone get me the Oh, there it is. I found the ORV. Okay, cool.
I believe that is the timestamp 1 hour 49 or.
Yes.
Yep, 149.38.
Okay.
And queued up.
Yep.
Great. Let's continue forward. 3, 2, 1, go.
So these are EX stages, which are fun.
The harder
much
ones.
harder. Yeah, much harder.
And
than the
much
original.
harder. Cool.
Yeah.
Lots of fun, but much harder. I haven't cleared any of the EX routes yet, but I want to.
Use Assault. Assault is easy, and also high scoring. It's sort of just like the number
Good.
one ship.
It's just good.
Yeah, it's just good.
So the stage layouts are totally different. There's more enemies, there's more bullets, and the bosses in particular are much more aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they use the harder variants of the bosses, the ones that you don't see in original, and the ones that you only see in Chronicle, which is quite nice actually because they are pretty hard to fight, especially on the hard route, the one starting with Q. Because Q starts with Dark Flare, which is a horrible boss to start with.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. For a little bit, I was messing with like starting at Q and going up, and I was just like, oh wait, Dark Flare for the first stage? What? Please.
Yeah, it's the EX mode does not fuck around, which
No.
is part of why it's so awesome. But it also is very intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you do need to know what you're doing with the game to really make much progress in it.
Yeah. EX is a pretty good challenge for veterans of Darius games.
Hmm.
Yeah, this one. I can never get used to Assault though. I always find it's quite difficult to use its burst unit.
Yeah, it's interesting there.
Yeah, it takes work to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
But regarding me thinking that Assault is easy to clear with, it's because the burst unit sort of just like sticks in place and cancels everything in a circle.
Man,
So you
And
can
does
sort of
tons of damage.
It does. Just everything about Assault does tons of damage. The missiles do a ton of damage. The burst unit does a ton of damage. Making the unit actually pop does an insane amount of damage.
Yeah.
Like just everything about it is super high damage and all that.
does the counter burst happen to like expand when it's taking in energy?
I have no idea. I guess apparently you can counterburst with it, but I have no idea how, and I've never tried it.
Because
Count-
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, counterbursting with Assault is generally the same as counterbursting with Legend and Next and Formula, same timing and everything.
Oh,
And
jeez.
when you do burst, it actually expands the radius of both the pulsating unit and the explosion when you make it pop, and it does it does a lot of damage as well.
Oh,
Interesting.
I didn't even realize this ship type could counterburst. I thought it
Yeah.
was a bomb.
I need to see a
Yeah.
video of that because I'd love to know how to do it because I really like playing as Assault. One thing I do struggle with Assault is when you have this shot type that Trap has right now, where it's just the one single
Yeah.
laser. It can be really difficult to kill things sometimes because even though it does a lot of damage, it has almost no coverage.
Yeah, it's pretty problematic, which is why I sort of just like go and hope I don't die until I power up enough for it to be usable again. It's just, yeah, it's scary. It's scary for a couple power levels, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, and then you're fine, pretty much.
Yeah, the burst almost reminded me of the Type B gravity ball from Ginga Force, if you guys remember that attack where it's like that chargeable ball, and then when it sucks in stuff, it gets bigger and bigger. It almost reminded me of that, but you can't beat the Ginga Force version, I think.
I still haven't played Ginga Force. Is it good?
It's definitely worth trying out.
And I will
pretty
have
cool.
to. I'll have to grab it.
Basically, there's a really cool like sub weapon. Well, it's actually not a sub weapon; it's a special weapon which is a chargeable like EMP bomb, which when it takes in more bullets, it gets bigger and bigger, and then basically it just like fills the whole screen when there's like a shitload of stuff happening, which is definitely a shitload of stuff happening in hard mode and story mode hard in that game. But anyway, enough looking, of course.
Yeah.
No, I mean, thanks for reminding me of it. I can get a Christmas gift to myself. That'll be fun.
Everyone should get King of Force too, and this game, obviously.
Okay, Jamers is recommending it. Now it's officially on my list. So okay. Anyway, back to Darius Burst.
Yeah, so regarding the insane damage, if you saw me fight the mid-boss snake, he went down like that, which is really nice because that snake mid-boss is the hardest thing in the whole game.
The snakes are very challenging, yeah.
They are, yeah.
I mean, I feel like shmup snakes are a really cool thing, and I love that they exist, but they're also really tricky. So they're always kind of a highlight for me in games that feature them because they're so iconic and they're so difficult. Usually they represent kind of the high point of a stage or even sometimes the game in terms of difficulty. So
all I can think of is Icarus playing Pink Sweets with the snakes.
Oh,
stage 4 is it, I believe.
Right.
And there you go.
Thank you.
And always like dying like twice or 3 times.
Damn snakes.
I mean, I can remember a lot of really memorable snakes just off the top of my head, like the snakes from the 3rd stage of Crimson Clover, the dragonfly snakes from stage 4 of Mushihime-sama.
Yep.
Right.
There's lots of snakes in the R-Type series. Pretty much every game in that series has at least 1 or 2 moments with snakes. What else, man? There's so many of them.
Fire snakes from Gradius 2.
Yeah.
Ultinex second has some snakes in the 2nd stage.
It's like a shmup tradition.
It is.
And you gotta have
That's
like this
a good one.
to like have like all the little segments so they can all like pop when you're shooting them
Yep.
down. Classic.
So now we've got V, which, much like H, has a very terrifying boss.
Yeah, Ruler.
Its
This
ruler is
poor
back for
bird is
revenge.
so
wants
mean.
decay.
It's so mean.
Is it Golden Ruler, is it, or?
Yeah.
Oh god.
He's so mean.
Yeah. Apparently there's also Savage Ruler as well, which is even harder.
That's terrifying.
As if the Ruler series wasn't hard enough.
The series.
I wonder if that's how like the Belsar do it. They're like, yeah, this last model wasn't good enough, so let's make it worse.
Yeah.
And we gotta pimp it out and make it gold.
Yeah. Yeah. How do we make Ruler more intimidating? By coating him with bling. I mean, as everyone knows, painting your gun gold instantly makes it much more effective in combat.
Oh yes.
So I totally failed all the scoring opportunities right there, which was pretty amazing. So like, there's so much.
Oh, that was dang. That one lasted way long. That
Yeah. This placement here is really fun because they just keep hitting enemies, and so they keep coming back. Also, I never realized you could see Ruler in the background during that segment. That's so cool.
Yeah. You can.
Oh, I never noticed that when I was playing. That's awesome.
It's similar in G Darius as well, where Great Thing pops up at the back of one of the stages.
Yeah.
It's similar in that respect.
That's so great.
this may have to be the last replay we watch. We're approaching 2 hours here. Don't want to go too crazy long.
But we've got to show Great
if
Thing.
If you all are not bothered by seeing for the whole thing, I guess, but
I'm down
be a
for
long
it.
one.
I mean, I'd be down to see what is it, GTV on
Yeah.
stage C.
All right.
So
All right.
even if we can probably skip ahead to it if you want. I don't mind that, but I want to see it.
I will figure it out.
How close are we?
We're at hour 45 right now.
Okay. I think we'll probably have time. Yeah, this boss is.
I hate
Yeah.
Gorgonzola so much.
He's like just rocking out over there, but then shooting all the mines.
I swear he's got to be friends with that boss from Einhander that does the robot dance in the background or whatever. It's a really annoying boss from like stage 6 or something.
Is that the
Yeah.
giant monkey boss, is it?
Yeah,
He's like he's ape-like. Yeah.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That boss
Yeah.
is a nightmare.
yeah.
And like he starts dancing on you.
Yeah, that one.
More bosses just need to like just start like rocking out on you. And like taunting you. Like wagging the ass or whatever.
Jeez, this boss is spamming so many projectiles.
Oh yeah, you haven't even seen the worst of it yet.
Slow homing bullets.
This is so bad. This is so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is really bad. And it only gets worse.
Oh, you handled that pretty well though.
I'd like to thank the burst unit for that. It makes your life so much easier. You just drop it and all the bullets are gone, and you feel good.
Yeah, but still, I mean, just knowing when to use it, you're pretty strategic about that in this fight, which is good. Jamers, hungry gluttons.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's the stolen joke.
Yep.
Elixir made that joke on Twitter, and you stole it.
I mean, I think everyone's made that joke.
Wow.
I sure hope so, because
I
that's
never.
the best.
Yeah. Oh, I totally forgot about this. The like.
Yeah,
lance thing.
I actually messed that up. Like I remember that it goes down and shoots twice before going again, but I don't know, I spaced on it and went after the first one, so I got suitably beaten up for it.
So, can we talk about that attack for a second? Because it has that safe spot, which I always feel is really weird.
Yeah, it's got that on the
The normal one, yeah.
yeah, the normal one has it as well. I don't know
So good job.
what the deal is, but yeah, it's there and you should use it.
Good
Maybe
job,
they just
man.
wanted to give you a break after all the other crazy ones.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Do we want to skip ahead to GT?
We probably should if we want to keep it under 2 hours.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna find the timestamp right now. Okay, hang on.
41.
Oh,
No.
841.
The QUZ or the CGL? Because I'm looking at the QUZ.
QZ.
Is it 841?
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing the whole stage. I was looking for just the boss, but that's fine too.
Yeah, the whole stage is fine.
Wait.
No, it should
No.
work.
No, it is. It's actually 840, 841s for the boss.
I'm
No.
Sure. It's not. I see a seahorse.
The boss is 955, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, I'm gonna make a link. Hang on. There we go. That'll be like 4 or 5 seconds before.
Cool.
Alright.
All right. Well, we all ready?
Nope.
Yeah, but I'm ready.
Yep.
Okay, so
Oh, and this is
Okay, now I'm ready.
Zaarock.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Zaarock. This is a pretty cool run. So.
okay, that's from 942 on QZ here. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. We come to some like bluesy rock soundtrack here.
And then GTV shows up in the background, just like staring at you.
This thing just turns up and proceeds to ruin your day.
No more bluesy rock for you.
And then that song in the background, I think the name of this is literally Hello Elite, but it's like spelled in like Elite speak, which is pretty hilarious.
Lead speak, lol.
Wait, he's already using the narwhal missiles?
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's pretty insane. I've actually never seen GTV, so
He uses
Yeah,
the
me
missile
neither.
straight away.
Oh
he
my
uses
God.
the burst laser straight away as well.
he's just going nuts.
This is
And
my
I
first
think-
time seeing it as well.
The thing
So
is, this
without
isn't
that-
the hardest one either. There's also a much harder variant of
GTB, right?
GTB, yeah.
Oh god.
This is oh man.
Terrifying.
This is beautiful and terrifying.
Putting that fixed burst to serious use there.
Yeah.
have- You
I
have-
mean, yeah, you have to, especially when you're playing as freaking Formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. Formula. That shot length you guys are seeing is literally the full length of the shot. It does not go further than that.
Yeah, it's like a third of the screen.
Man.
Yeah, Zaarock just mentioned that in CS mode there's actually a boss that's harder than GTB called Gigantic Bite.
Oh, what? I
new
haven't
boss.
seen that.
I need
Oh
to
man.
see this.
Complete-
God,
One of the 2 new bosses in the game.
so cool.
No, 3 new bosses in the game, sorry.
Oh, nice.
I love that they added new bosses. Like, it
Yeah.
really is awesome. There's so much new content in this, in addition to the huge amount of content that there already was.
Now that somebody mentioned Titanic Lance, though, I so want to see that. I just want to see absolutely enormous Titanic Lance taking up 2 entire screens.
Yeah, it would be pretty epic. I just can't get over the fact that he's using everything right away. Like,
Yeah. Everything straight away. And in combinations as well, because the original great thing would like disappear and then those small dolphins would appear. Here,
Yeah.
the dolphins actually appear while he's still on screen.
oh my god,
Oh no.
that's so mean.
There we
I
go.
love it.
I like the vocals on that on the song.
Oh, and then they show up again, like they do in the normal GT fight.
That like one snake laser that comes out of nowhere and can totally ruin your day if you don't remember that it happens.
Yeah.
Actually, since Za's in the chat, why do you turn around to dump your fixed burst? Or maybe Icarus knows.
The fixed burst for Formula acts like it does with Legend, so it tries to point in the opposite direction from you. So if he's trying to put up a wall, that means he has to move directly to the thing if he's facing it. So he turns around, drops it, and then
so we can
flies.
move away.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nice. That's really
Okay.
smart.
That's a
Oh
pretty
shit,
good-
he missed it!
Oh.
Ah,
Oh,
yes.
God. The missile is so
Yeah,
so brutal.
the narwhal missile is
Damn.
like, so brutal.
Holy shit! Can you even? Oh man, I guess you can because he's doing it.
Yeah.
But
this is-
I was. Oh,
If you flip the screen, it'll be like a Psycho pattern there. Or something. Imagine
that's
playing this with the flip screen instead,
Oh man, like a 32, like a 9 to 32.
like looking up.
Like a wall.
Come play the wall.
I absolutely hate it when it turns sideways like this because it fires all of its horrible attacks at you. Right angled lasers. Ooh. Burst laser.
This
Oh, yeah.
is so
Denied.
bad.
green area with
Oh no! Oh
the
no!
writing lasers are so
What is this?
Oh,
It's
dang.
doing everything.
What the hell? The lasers explode in the middle.
Dang.
What the hell?
That's like too much.
The
Oh my
lasers
God.
shoot out and then blow up.
Wow.
Well done. Well fucking done. That
Oh.
was
That's crazy.
beautiful. Holy hell. So yeah, great thing. Or GTV,
It's-
everyone.
Great thing is a great thing.
Yeah. Great thing is fucking awesome.
Best boss ever. Best boss.
Nice.
I think that's it though, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that'll be it. I think.
That'll do, fish.
That'll do.
Hey, he's a whale. Don't disrespect the man.
You guys want to mention any notable differences between the Steam, PS4, or Vita versions, or what's the main thing to know about that?
I mean, I guess the biggest is PC does multi-monitor.
Yeah.
The other ones won't.
Okay.
But it sounds like there are some minor technical issues people are having with the multi-monitor right now. I think they're being worked on, but there's a few people are complaining about that. The GTV is Great Thing Violet, I believe, because he's purple, and
Yes.
GTV is Great Thing Black.
Yep.
That's right.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Great thing, TV.
TV.
I would watch that all day, man.
Yes. Oh god.
If you like, I can quickly describe the differences between the various versions for you.
Yes.
As you mentioned, the PC version, the big feature there is the dual screen support, and it also has the 4-player local co-op. PlayStation 4 also has the 4-player local co-op, but it also has the digital art book, and your controller, when you're playing the game, will also light up with the color of whatever ship you're using at the time. So that's an interesting aesthetic feature there if you care about those kinds of things. And then finally, there's the Vita version, which, in addition to being portable, the big difference there is that it doesn't have the local co-op, but because of that, the price point on the Vita version is also lower compared to the other versions.
And you have some of the screen cropped off in the Vita version. Is that right compared to these other ones, or?
No, it's just you're playing on a Vita screen, so it's tiny.
Very
There's
small.
Okay.
in the Vita has physical, right? Or which one has the physical release?
The Vita physical version is the limited edition. That's Japan only.
Yeah. But I mean, physical is a big deal for a lot of people, so just figured it's something to mention.
All right. Awesome. Well, this game is out right now, so what are you waiting for, right?
Oh, yes,
Money.
that is a very good point. The Vita version does work on PlayStation TV,
Mhm.
so if you have one of those, that might actually be suitable.
That'd be a good way to go.
And PSTV does have local co-op, I believe.
It shouldn't. PSTV is just a consoleized Vita.
I heard that it did. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's probably gonna do it for the episode. Thank you so much, Blackbird, for coming on and representing Darius Burst Chronicle Saviours.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to. I'm always happy to come out and talk with everyone, and I feel like every time I do one of these episodes, I also learn a lot about the games because typically the players know a lot more about the scoring mechanics of the game than I can really get into.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, thank you tons. It's really cool to hear a little bit of the background about how this came to be, and I'm just super impressed that you guys are, just bringing out all kinds of great stuff right now. I mean, first Mushi and then this, not even talking about Eschatos and
It's been a crazy year so far.
It's been a really great year, so keep
I
it
mean,
keep it up.
We've had Triangle Service, the Shooting Love pack. We've had the Eschatos and Judgment Silver Sword Wonder Pack. Mushihime-sama, Darius Burst. I mean, to me, that's pretty incredible that we managed to do all of that, and sometimes I can't believe it myself.
Yeah, it's really cool. So,
and this was definitely a big release. This Darius Burst, it's crazy. It's
yeah,
pretty big one for as shooting games in general. So definitely show your support if you can, and check it out. Okay,
definitely.
Well, that's episode 84 on Darius Burst Chronicle Saviours. Thank you everyone for coming out.
Thank you all.
And
No problem.
till next